Hello from Bali. This is the podcast Pigeon of Peace, where we do discuss awesome skills of troubleshooters. Watch, listen, and check the description below for the details. Let's talk about rituals, and let's start with the definitions.
Rituals, this is some actions which people conduct even without knowing what this means. For example, I was young, I don't know, maybe I was 5 years old, and this was a very strange conversation between, I don't know how to say, like a nanny in a children garden and my mom. Suddenly, this nanny said, come on, you should do something with your son, because when he is saying, he's knocking on the wood. Стучит по дереву. It's okay to say?
Yes, knock on the wood.
And my mom then asked me, and this is my very early memories, why do you this? Why do you do this? And I said, yes, but our grandma do this. And mother might explain, this is a ritual about superstitious. If people wanted to do something, they do not want some evil forces to know what they planning to do. And they make this noise to hide the sound of the words. And this was first time when I meet rituals. Second, I have classmate girl. Her name was Yelena, and he was just good mark receiver. It's okay to say?
Yeah, or like a got higher marks.
Got higher marks, yes. And she were saying some very strange words before she's going to take tickets and have answers. And at one point, I was not sure that I would get a good mark. And she were listening to my hesitation, and then she write me some note on the paper and give it. And she said, if you will spell these words, you will definitely get these good marks. And after maybe 3 or 5 years, I learned that it was, I don't know how to say, молитва. How to say it in English? Prophecy. Prayer. Yes, it's prayer. And it was so strange because at this time I was in Komsomol, this like scout organization, which is going prior to Communist Party invitation and so on. And suddenly I realized that this girl were using this prayer, and I was thinking, what's the strange situation? We should ask some omnipotent force to help us to get a good mark, but it's not good. For example, I don't want to make prayer or to see how my pilot, before we will fly to Bali, for example, will pray and stand on the knees.
Well, this is actually a funny thing, because what I also noticed about flights, mostly on the Russian flights, people upload to the aircraft when it lands. So it's actually, like being questionable about the quality, or maybe, like chances of not to land properly. And one of the things that I kind of read about rituals is that at certain point of time, people will follow things without even understanding what that they mean. And there was even psychological experiment when certain group were doing something, and they were doing something for the reason, but the moment some other people were added to this group and the group got diluted and the old guys like left, those people actually pick it up and started to continue to do all of the things. So how exactly our brain works when we been introduced something new and we think like whether we want to follow it or not, and at a certain point of time we actually choose just to blindly follow?
Unfortunately, you know this joke, but maybe our listeners will evaluate it. It was a new family, and suddenly fiance asked his bride why she is cutting edges of the sausage when before boiling. And suddenly she realized, I didn't know, and she make a call to the mother, the same conversation, and they all call to grandmother. At this point, this grandmother will say, oh, come on, you just use those small pen I was using like 2 generations ago. And suddenly they realized that this was ritual, because those sausage will not fit the small pottery which was used like 20 or 30 years ago. The same quite often. For example, there is very strange rituals even in corporate culture. Maybe you will explain. Sometimes it's like obligation for the boss to buy pizza or something like this to people when they work. I know how to say there is a special word after you working after work hours, like
it's called long hours, or sometimes they could say like full all-nighter, like all night.
I was expecting some other word, but yes, you catch the meaning quite well. So sometimes if you are as a boss ask people to work late night, you should give them something. It would be like a pizza. Or for example, sometimes in companies, if you will get the first salary, you should invite everyone to the pub, and you will pay for each first shot for all people you know. And for example, there are also another a lot of rituals for people who make jumping from the sky, or if they make diving, or if they do something like this. By the way, in the Bali, there are also a lot of rituals. For example, sometimes people will come and touch head of the holy person. And I don't know how it works, but it's help them feel themselves better. If you would be in India, it's quite also easy to see some strange rituals. For example, you will give some money to the temple, and there is a ritual. You should give this money to special person, and this person should put hands on it. And if rumors says, if you will give money and this person will not touch them, you would be not a blessed one. So yes, you gave the money, but if this person will not touch them, you will have no forgiveness and something like this.
Well, and now we will look into the part of the human itself, because at certain point of time when they would come up with the rituals, whether they're small or they're like a huge in their life, it's also probably might be meaning that, like they will need some sort of like a justification to something, to whatever happened. Like, for example, I will travel to the mountains so that the guy, like look at me with a certain look and I will get lucky. So at least maybe, again, this is also might be speculation that people will have. They just replacing procrastination or like any other things with the things that is easier to do or like more or less challenging, instead of like doing real thing. So whether there is like a basis for people doing that, or again, like it's like a hurt feeling when they just like feel part of the pack and they just want to blindly follow.
Several weeks ago, I have been to Mongolia, and I have been to territory which occupied by Buddhist people, and I have been to Datsan. Datsan, it's a kind of temple. And when I was entering, I was asked, please come. If you will work on this project, we should be blessed by someone like Buddha by itself. And also there are two goddess. One name is white Tara and another is green Tara. And okay, if I should, I will go. And we were spending like 170 kilometers by SUV cars, and it's take us a long way and a long time, because average speed it would be like 20 kilometers per hour. There are no roads, it's off-road territory. So we spent one day to be to Datsan and be back, and we start like 4 hours in the morning and we back like 10 p.m. So it was a very long day. And when we came to this Datsan, I was asked to go to Lama. Lama is kind of priest, and this Lama will say, come on, you will work for the prosperity of our people, and I will give you special hodok. Hodok, it's like belt. It could has like 4 colors. I couldn't remember all of them, but it would be maybe green, blue, yellow, and red. I forgot which is mean, but if I am not mistaken, green about money, but I was given blue this about thinking, about thoughts, about sophistication. And then he asked me, are you have truly intention to help us and something like this? And for sure I was saying yes. And then he was asking me to hold the hands, and on my hands he bent so-called diamond knot. It's okay to say diamond knot, алмазный узел.
Or note, yeah.
Diamond note. And it was so strange. This person which doesn't understand any mathematics I will do and any modeling was eager to help me. And then he was asking me to bend my hand, and he pushed his hand on my head, and he was also whispering something. And then people who were supporting me, they give some money, but no, this was not just a money like in a pile. They give some pile to this person, and then we were going through the old sun, and at some points they would pour some rice, I don't know how to say, corns, yes, rice pieces.
Rice or corns?
Кусочки риса, вот рисинки.
Piece of rice.
Piece of rice. At some point they would put cookies, just, Oreo cookies. This is like black and white Oreo cookies. And they were putting a lot of different stuff on some perimeter. And, they know how to do this. And, when we are going to this temple, this was complete science in the car. I was sitting on the back, and two persons which were following with me, they were saying completely silent. But on the back road, they were overthinking because we are blessed by someone. But I don't know what was the point. So this rituals was so important. So they couldn't give me the rest. They couldn't even give me the place to live before I would be blessed by those people in this Datsan.
Well, it's actually quite interesting because, like knowing of all of these rituals and actually going through maybe could also open like different doors. And when, for example, we speak about business or people, like working with the team, what I also notice, certain people or like a small group of folks that actually would create something for fun, and then it would become a glue. And, like it might be, even for newcomers, it might be some sort of like a traditions or things they will do before or after work, which would really make them, like feel either like a family or a group of people, or just, like someone who got connected to each other, not only by work, but maybe the way of thinking and executing. So whether rituals at work are useful, or again, like if we look at the team building or whatever, BS, they might be kind of like useless.
I have been to North Sudan. I was working with Niglots. Niglots, it's a tribe which live on the swamp, and we were asked by my employee to move them from the land because in the swamp there are some very useful underground resources. And I was trying to convince them, but I have no success, no luck. But what I notice, sometimes they sit before they take food and they make such a movements. And I was thinking, oh, come on, maybe this is about religion. And I ask those people, what are you doing? And they say, very important white people do this, and we are likewise, we do it. So I ask them, but at this point of time, people are saying something, and they told me, yes, we know, but we didn't know those words. And I said, yes, but you could find them in the internet. And they say, but what is internet? And now I realize they have no internet, they have no Wi-Fi, and they didn't know what people do. So ritual, this like movements without understanding of the deep meaning. So they know how to put the hands. The same also I have heard like like a fairy tale. Baika. It's okay to say fairy tale.
Fairy tale.
Like a fairy tale. It was like 100 years ago. One anthropologist came to the African tribe, and suddenly he found that the chief of the tribe, he was waiting for him, but he was taking newspaper upside down, because he know how to hold the newspaper, but he didn't know the letter, so he did not know what to do. This was second very funny moment. And second, it was when this chief has a headache or maybe toothache, this anthropologist give him pill, and suddenly this chief put this pill in the middle of the forehead and use some stripe to stripe it down. And after chief asked, but what are you doing? This medicine, you should put it inside. And chief was thinking, no, I will accept it by my most sacred face. This is like a hole in my head.
Well, I believe people also would call it like a cargo cult, when people just like trying to replicate something without even understanding how exactly it works. And my last question will be how knowing about rituals could help to make this world a better place.
For example, on the Bali, I have been a long time ago, like maybe 8, maybe 10 years, but there is a sign which used by people who make this surfing. They make it like a chill, or you could go, this is from Hawaii, and this has name Aloha. Aloha, it means like hi, let's have a fun, let's ride, and something like this. And a lot of people from northern country, they even didn't know where it came from, but they show it up. Or, for example, if you will go to the churches, for example, in Russia, in Ukraine, you will not know how to put this crossing, because some part of people do it from left to right and another from right to left. So a lot of people know how to do this symbol, but they didn't know what does this mean.
And we reviewed the skill of rituals and how it could be helpful for you. Stay in peace.